Right, so next little handyman job I'm going to show you how to do is how to replace a double socket in your house. I was going to do this in my own house, but I quickly worked out that all my sockets are either down at floor level, so would have been scrubbing around on the floor, or they're hidden behind chests of drawers or chairs and things like that. Plus I didn't want to shut the power off in the house because obviously it takes down all your Wi-Fi and your lighting and things like that, and there's members of the family in there that are using those things. So we've come out to the workshop. I've made a quick mock-up. This is your wall, double socket in your wall. They're all exactly the same, and some will have two sets of wires in, some will only have one. We won't go into that. I'm not trying to teach you how to be an electrician or how to fault find. This is purely about showing you how to change your double socket. It could be cracked, could have little burn marks on it. We've all seen those where things have burnt out in the sockets. It could be one of the switches. Quite often these switches will fail, and it's not actually switching on and off your socket. Or you might simply have sockets like these and you want ones with switches on. And again, pick them up at your local hardware stores, B&Q, things like that, and bring them home, and this will be the procedure for changing them. Most important thing before you do anything with any electrics in the house is to make sure that you switch it off at what we used to call the fuse box, now the consumer unit. My advice to you, if you're at all unsure, use the main switch on your fuse board on your consumer unit. Make sure you switch all the electric off in the house. If you're quite confident with electrics, you're just not sure how to change one of these, then just switch off your ring main circuits, which are the circuits that your sockets are on, and then come back to your socket and either plug in a lamp or a kettle, something that you know is working, and just make sure that it doesn't work. That tells you that you've shut off the power. You might have one of these. You can buy these pretty cheaply off Amazon, and they are designed for plugging into sockets, and not only will they test your circuits, but they will tell you whether there's any power to it. And that's the most important thing before you do any of this. Make sure the power is off. It's your responsibility. And also, if you're going to be doing it, make sure you tell the other people in your house that you're doing it. If you switch the power off and then suddenly disappear off somewhere in the house to start doing this, somebody might come in from another room and think, oh, it's tripped out, and they switch it back on. So tell the other people in the house what you're doing. Okay, I'll bring you in closer and then you'll be able to see exactly the process that we're going to go through. Okay, brought you in nice and close. Standard socket that we've said we'll find in your house. Sometimes you won't be able to see these two screws. They'll have little plastic caps on them. Just flick those plastic caps off. Sometimes they're a little bit embedded, so just use a pin or something just to flick them off. And you'll see then you've got two screws, usually flathead screws. So undo those screws. And as I said, before you do any of this, you've already made sure that you've switched off the power at the main consumer unit. Now these screws have very fine threads on them, so you might think they're not actually coming out, but so you can see very fine threads. It's not like your normal screws that you find in holding things in your car and what have you. They tend to have very coarse threads on them, so a few turns and they're out. These can take like 20 or 30 turns sometimes, depending on the length of the screws. So put those down to one side, make sure we don't lose them. And obviously our front plate is now loose. Pull it forward and don't be too concerned if your wires are coming in from one side and the other, or whether one coming from the bottom and the top. Depends how old your house is, when it was wired up, the construction and everything. The thing you're concerned with here is not learning how it works, just that you want to replace the cover plate. So with three sets of wires, you've got your earth wires, which are the green and yellows. You'll have brown wires, which are your live, and your blue wires, which are your neutral wires. So live, neutral, earth. Sometimes you'll hear people call them negatives and positives and things like that. Again, I'm not going to go to the ins and outs of that. Suffice to say, what I've told you are the correct terms for them, and that will become relevant in a minute. You'll see when I take this plate off. So to take those sets of wires off, next to each set of wires, you've got these tiny little screws here, 1, 2, and the third one down there. So I've already slackened the one on the neutral wires, slackened the one on the live wires, and slackened the one on the earth wires. Put my screwdriver down out of the way, and you'll see they will just pop out straight out of their holes. Leave them as they are in their pairs. Don't mix and match them. You don't want to be putting browns with blues and greens with browns. So the reason I said it's the terminology, that you've got your earth, your live, and your neutral wires. Sorry, neutral there, live there, earth there. There's actually 2 sets of earths on here. It's quite common. And sometimes you might want to use the other ones to earth the box. But again, I'm not going to try and teach you all about the electrics, purely replacing it. If you've taken 3 sets of wires off, you want to put 3 sets of wires back on. And all your sockets will be marked. They'll have an N for your neutral wires, they'll have an L for your live wires, and have this either an E for your earth wires, or this little symbol, looks like a down arrow with little lines across it. Sure that's coming through on the camera there. I'll just show you the other one. This is the unswitched one. It doesn't matter, that's the fact that it's got switches doesn't make any difference to the back of it. This one's got N for your neutrals, L for your lives, and your earths go up here, and they've got the little symbol there. So they will be on there somewhere. If you're replacing it, you'll notice they come with the screws, and these days they usually, rather than being in a separate packet, they're usually attached to the back like this. Just pop those out with your screwdriver before you fit it. And these are the little caps I was talking about. Pull them off and they stick over the screws after it's fitted. I'm not going to fit that one back on. We'll fit the original one back on, and you'll see it's just a reverse of the process that we used to remove it. Before I try and fit it back on, you can see the screw sticking through a little bit there. What I tend to find is the best way to do it is to back them off till you can just see the tip of the screw. But as you can see, the screw hasn't fallen out, it's still in there. And that's where you want them to be. So you've got maximum room to get your wires in, but you're not going to be hitting the screw, but at the same time your screws aren't falling out. So the screws are still in there. So we're checking where the markings are: live wires, neutral wires, and the earth wires. So it doesn't matter what order we put them in on. And so holding the wires with my fingers there, come in with the screwdriver, and you don't want to go too tight on these. You don't want to crush the wires. You certainly don't want to do it so tight that you cut the wires in half. That's plenty tight enough. As long as the wires don't come out and they're held firmly, you've got a good connection. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the live wires. Okay, and the same with the earth wires. And you can feel it grip, and then just to give it a little bit of a turn there. So those wires are not going to come out of there. Now, when you're putting it back in, offer it up, make sure you're not trapping any wires around the side. And because your screws are going to go in here, just make sure you haven't got wires protruding out here. Sometimes the wires have actually been made over long. So just make sure they fold into the centre here, not sticking out around the sides here. So push that back up towards the plate there. Just put my hand behind the back because it's a flimsy board. Obviously you'd be working on a wall. And I can feel that's gone straight into the hole. So I know it's gone in. And as I said before, these things have very fine threads on them. So when you're screwing them in, you might think nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden you'll feel the plate has gripped. So you can see it pulling itself in there. And I'm not going to do that one up tight yet until I've got the other one in. If sometimes when you put them in, you're trying to get them into a tiny little hole and you miss the hole because you got this too far down or too far up. So I just look over the top of the socket. I can see that's gone into the hole there. Well, I just look down the gap there. So screwing that in, and again, you don't need to hang off these screws. These screws are purely holding this fascia plate in place. And you can see there, I'm literally using my fingers. I'm not even gripping the screwdriver like that. So that's on there. Recheck that one there, and that's it. It's on. It's not going anywhere. You've done it the reverse of what you did putting it on. If you've got your little plastic caps, by all means stick those back in. They're purely cosmetic. They don't have to be on. It's not going to make any difference to its electrical safety, and so it's not going to make any difference to how it operates. And your wires, your switches work absolutely fine. Switch your power back on at your consumer unit, and then bring the device that you used to test it back out again. If you used your kettle, if you used a lamp, plug it in, make sure it all works. In my case, I would plug that in and I would switch it on, and I would do the same for the other one, and I'd switch it on. For the price of them, you may want to go and buy one of these. I'll show you this working on a socket that I know has got power to it. So if we take this out of the way, I'll just move you slightly so you can see the socket over there, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So these are live sockets. Put that in there, nothing's lit up because it's switched off. As soon as I switch it on, I get a noise, and that's telling me 2 green lights. That one's off. That's correct. So we know it's working. And if, like I say, if you wanted to check, you could always put it in the other one, but they're fed from the same wires, so it wouldn't make any difference. It just means that you check that the socket's working. Okay, there you go. No electrician required. No waiting in all day for them to arrive. And most important, no £100 bill at the end of the day. So it's a quick and simple task really, once you know what you're doing. I'll leave a link in the description to the socket tester. And if you find my DIY tips useful, just please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'm Mark. This is the Retired Handyman channel, and I'll see you on the next fix.